And you're going to come into all fours tabletop position. So wrists will be under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And spreading the fingers wide like you're giving the floor a high five. Good. And now I'm just going to have Angela rock forward, so her head comes in front, shoulders come in front of the wrists, and then a little bit back. Not quite towards child's pose, just a little motion in the wrist joints. So for you at home, this might feel like a lot of pressure, or you might not be able to get all of your hands flat to the floor. So just observe that for yourself. And this time as you come forward, go ahead and stack the shoulders back up over your wrists, and then turn the fingertips in towards each other. And again, shoulders and wrists are still aligned, but the fingers face each other. She's going to start to rock to the right and to the left. And you might notice that the heels of your hands want to lift up if you go too far. I want you to keep pressure and pressing down into the earth, not going so far that the heels of the hands lift. And if you have carpal tunnel or arthritis in the wrist, this could be really difficult for you. So you need to be mindful and slow and aware of your practice and what's too much. I'm going to find that just right amount. So now bring your body weight back to center, and then I'm going to have you spin your hands all the way around so that your fingertips face your knees. And she automatically walked her fingers a little closer to her knees so that the whole heel of her hand could press into the floor. So you want to be sure you don't lock your elbows out here, so give them just a little baby micro bend if possible. And this can be pretty intense. So maybe it's just applying pressure that's enough for you. If you have a little more mobility in your wrists, you might come into those forward and back motions again. And it might be just a centimeter of movement. It might be no movement at all. We want to not feel sharp pains, just a nice stretch. So if it's too much for you, go back to one of the previous movements, and that may be enough. All right, so the next stretch, she's going to bring her body weight back over the wrists. She's going to release, maybe sit to the heels for a second and take a few wrist circles nice and slow, releasing out any tension, especially if you have inflammation in your wrist joints. Even tendinitis, anything that deals with that area of your body. When you're ready, come back to all fours again. And we're going to go a little bit deeper, so it's going to get more challenging each step of the way. So now we're going to flip the palms so that they're face up, the fingertips facing each other. Palms are still spread, fingertips spread nice and wide. Wrists underneath the shoulders, so walk your wrists back just a little bit towards you. Okay, now we're going to move right to left. So lateral movement, shifting side to side. She's keeping her palms spread nice and flat and the backs of her wrists against the padding. And for you at home, if your hands are on a hard surface, if you're practicing in a chair, maybe using a table, you may want to do the same thing that she did. Get herself comfortable with some padding underneath there, a towel or a blanket at home. So go ahead and bring the weight back to center. And now we're going to keep the palms facing up, but you're going to flip the fingers to face your knees. And this is the most difficult of all. So this may be enough, just like previously when our palms were facing down, fingertips towards the knees. Just applying the pressure may be plenty of work for you. If you have a little bit more mobility, you might be able to lean your body weight forward and back. And again, it may just be a hair. It might just be a smidge of movement where that's enough. So take your time, be mindful, don't lock out your elbows. Okay, and then go ahead and slowly peel your arms and hands up off the floor and have a seat. Maybe roll the wrists again. Nice and slow circles. Open and close the hands.